In the National Assembly, there's always a Tinubu's will Gospel Apabio that is ready, willing and ready to pass anything passable. Even the unpassable is willing to pass it. A situation whereby the military will be driving, particularly in the north, and people will be stopping and say, we want you in power. We want you to take over government. The presidency trying to be cautious. The presidency trying to be politically calculative. So you will see that there has always been this interest for the military, and some of these guys that joined the military then, they are the ogas now. Go and check. He didn't only appoint the chief of army staff, he was appointing brigade commander, this, that. So that means that Tinubu himself is afraid. If they know that the president is not somebody that has listening ears, maybe if they know that he's somebody that he doesn't listen, definitely they'll go and tell him, oh, you are the best, sir. The people in the presidency, I don't think they really listen. We should have a thinking presidency. We should have people in the presidency that do research. But what we have is sycophants, political hallelujah boys, that they don't really kind of like do research about what led to the detriment of government in some other countries and begin to advise the president accordingly. For God's sake.
Welcome to Precious AU TV. So, Dr. Deji and I just thought to drop this quick one here. So, you know that there has been fear of coup in Nigeria. And Asare Dokubo has been talking. He's been spilling a lot of things. In fact, Asare don't talk. Say people when they cause oil bunkering, this one down. Say na president, say na make you talk that, and when you talk, when you do press conference. Say because everybody they fear coup. And then, as if all this was not enough, remember, say the federal government just changed 15 brigade people, come out 15 generals, come out them. And then remember, say they also just change the people who be say they in charge of the DSS officers who they in charge of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As soon as they come back into the country, they just come out there and change them sharp. So all this will happen amidst the fear of Oga Lagbaja, chief of army staff, Oga Lagbaja death. So he be say they never see come clarify, but the army saying a lie, that kind of thing a bad wishes, and where they go. So what is really going on? Because it look like, say, it can't be like saying, you know, there's something going on in the presidency where a lot of people need to hear, because even after the person will post that thing, dare the Nigerian army say it made them prove and wrong, say Oga Lagbaja they are alive, but bringing 1 second video to prove say they are alive. Till now, we never see that 1 second video to prove say Oga Lagbaja they are around. But what is going on? Could there be something that the presidency knows that we do not know, and that they are trying to like mitigate with all this reshuffling and, you know, thing when they made the way they go on for inside the military? As they talk to you today, and nav jets just crash. Who will be the people waiting inside that nav jet will crash? This the matter the way you be say we're supposed to look at. And I make a call Dr. Deji, make you follow me on the matter. Sharply, Dr. Deji. This is a quickie. It's not that one that you could down and be analyzing. So go ahead and do a quickie for us.
Well, for me, I think if you look at what has been happening in the presidency right now, there's more to it than meets the eye. Okay. Because the rumor of Lagbaja's death, and at the time when the COAS, chief of army staff, is not around in the country, you will want to think that, okay, these generals, you will need the experience of these generals at a time like this, that the main man is not around. One. Now, the alleged death of Lagbaja shows that, or the kind of sickness that he has, gives us a yellow light that there may eventually be a vacuum. And in that kind of instance, why would you want to ease out 15 generals at a time, whereby you can easily pick one of them? Don't say that maybe their time is, is naturally up, that they can just ease them out. No. If it can happen to IGP Egbetokun, whereby you already rush to the National Assembly, and in the National Assembly, there's always a Tinubu's will Gospel Apabio that is ready, willing and ready to pass anything passable. Even the unpassable is willing to pass it. So they definitely, you cannot say that the excuse is anybody's tenure as expired. So it has been proven that it depends on the clique you belong. If Ariwola, for instance, were to be in a very strong clique, a very major clique, maybe the National Assembly would have passed the extension of time that, okay, as a chief judge, you can no longer retire at 65, maybe it will now be 75. So it depends on the clique. So based on the antecedent of the Tinubu administration, why would you ease out 15 generals at a crucial time?
Is this considering the fact that before even Egbeto committee at Taoreed Lagbaja came into office, remember that some people also had to retire to pave way for him, because your junior no go be oga at the top, then you go still dey under. So considering that antecedent, if you say na wetin make
no, the thing is,
people
the president may be calculative in the such that he may have somebody in mind. His boys may have somebody in mind, but they are doing the calculation and permutation in such a way that if that person is not somebody that is favorable to them, what they would have to do is to ease out the people that are his superior, because you cannot receive the salute of the person that was commissioned after you are commissioned. You cannot go back and salute that person. It is a sacrilege in the military, the police, the DSS, or any force organization. So the thing is, we may not even be there yet. This may be the first phase. At the end of the day, if Tinubu is going to appoint, he may appoint somebody that they will need to face off another set of top military guys. So this may be the first phase. And let's look at something, right? The generals that were hissed up were from the artillery command. The artillery command is those that are in charge of the military weapons.
Exactly.
The strong weapons of the military. Those that deliver military arsenals, the weaponry to those in the battlefield. So if you ease out 15
at a time
of them, that means that what that implies is you are changing the structure of the military weapon base, which is important if a coup is to hold anyway. Another thing is
won't come, it's important.
Yes,
so that
of course,
when you trust go handle the ammunition.
Of course. Another thing is you may see a kind of like, despite the fact that COAS is not around, but this will be an in-house something. So the military guys are the one that can verify it. If in each state, if they are changing the head of the military command, as if they are changing commissioners of police, that sends a signal, because if a coup is going to hold, there are some key states that you must have under your control. For instance, those that they are suspecting, they can kind of like ease them out. And if you, for instance, if the military command in Lagos State is loyal, Abuja, Kano, Rivers State, and is it Katsina or Kaduna, where so much military formations are, if you can have that one under your control, if you plan a coup, the coup will be successful, because states like Taraba, Jigawa, all those states will just fall in line at the end of the day. So you will see that there are more to it than meat there. Look at it now. COAS is not around. They said, they are spreading rumor that he has died, and
that is the army staff for COAS. So
yes, all these permutations are going on, and within that particular time, you will see that they change the person in charge of Tinubu security in the DSS. All these things speaks volume. And when you go to the street, see, coup can either come by some greedy officers that are be able to map out the strategy, and it can also come by popular demand.
But the generals, they don't do coup. If we look at the history of coup for Nigeria, and really the generals, then you know sometimes the younger ones, them, for instance,
and the truth is,
then be the power engine where they propel it to happen.
In Nigeria, those guys that are the general, the younger ones cannot do it without one or two generals knowing. But in case it backfires, that's why the generals try to always play the back seat. But every low cadre, medium cadre officer in this Nigeria has a godfather at the top echelon of the military. If you are a police officer and you have rank, there's no way you wouldn't have served under some senior police officers that such people will be like your godfather in the system. So you can see that this speaks volume, and you will see that, number one, the hardship in the country. It speaks volume, and a situation whereby the military will be driving, particularly in the north, and people will be stopping and say, we want you in power. We want you to take over government. Definitely, all these things, if you look at it, it speaks volume to the presidency trying to be cautious, the presidency trying to be politically calculative enough so that it won't lead to story that touch. But the truth is, no matter how you change the military structure, no matter how you change the military formation, military right now is they operate like a one-line chain of command. And the man that is there now, Abdul something Ibrahim, that is reporting to Lagbaja allegedly. The Tinubu guys, I don't think they will trust the guy so much. So at the end of the day, as much as Tinubu loves Lagbaja and believes in him, he may be forced to take action very, very soon to appoint a new chief of army staff.
But most people always appoint people from their region. That's one thing, because President Bola and Buhari works, with military men from his region. We'll take it that because the military is saturated with northerners. And now Tinubu coming, it makes sure say most of the way on top, where perhaps no be from a region retire until they reach Lagbaja. Nigeria and stop in makeup. So must they use people from their region? And then I would really like me to tell us that does it mean that this thing where Asari Dokubo talk say everybody dey fear coup? Not true. Say there may be some jittery right now.
Of course.
You see, by the president or within the presidency against
you see, even before, immediately when he got sworn in, there's been the jittery before his emergence, and
we've never had this fear.
What happened? What is happening in Nigeria now? The kind of hardship in the space of 1 year 6 months did not happen so much like that in some African countries before military took over. Everybody likes power. Everybody wants power. The military guys believe that when Abacha was there, BB was there, they were enjoying so much. The military uniform have so much respect. So there are still some guys in the military that when they join the military, now there are guys in the military, but when they join the military when the military was in power. It was that power that made some of them to even go and join the military, that if we join, that exactly that even if I don't become the head of state, I can become the like a Buba Marwa in Lagos State. So you will see that there's always been this interest for the military, and some of these guys that joined the military then, they are the ogas now. So that orientation that was on when we joined the military,
that hope.
Then another thing is
now the new hope
exactly. Then another thing is, look at it. Before Tinubu came in, there were allegations that there are some people who are saying, they should plan military coup, and at the end of the day, the military will install interim government, and that was what brought Asari Dokubo to be shouting and say, you will bring militant and all that, blah blah blah, and all that. So now, the Tinubu is there now. Why you know that Tinubu is as weak to the extent of as which he is strong? It's in two ways. He appears very strong, but at the same time, he appears very weak. What do I mean by that? If other people, other presidents, and you can look at it in the books,
don't take time.
What they will do is that, no, I don't come quick, baby.
Oh no, please.
No, I'm just kidding. What they do is the
producer won't laugh that. Sorry, producer. Sorry. How can they corrupt your ear on the day of your birth? Sorry.
No, the truth is, if you look at Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even when he was sworn in, other presidents, what they usually do is to make sure that they appoint the chief of army staff. The chief of army staff will be their boy. The chief of army staff will now install the chain of command. But when Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in, go back and recheck.
Take your time.
My viewers, go and check. He didn't only appoint the chief of army staff, he was appointing brigade commander, this, that. So that means that Tinubu himself is afraid. He didn't, you know.
You don't want the power to
Yes. As much as he trusts Lagbaja to be the chief of army staff, he himself was quite very afraid. That's why you see that the appointment that past president would ordinarily not make in the military, that they will leave the chief of army staff, who will be their supposed boy, to kind of like make those appointments, those strategic appointments. Tinubu was making that appointment. That shows that Tinubu himself is afraid to lose the power. And the truth is, some of these guys, they really know what is going on in the country. It's just that when you have somebody that you know that this is what, for instance, if you are my boss now, and I know that if I come and meet you for something, you don't want to hear it. You say, did you get out? Go, no. I won't come and meet you. If I want you to smile, I'll come and tell you what you want to hear. That, Oga Precious, this is that. I know that you will smile. So if the people knows that the president is not
So
somebody,
they're just being
yes,
psychopaths.
yes, if they know that the president is not somebody that has listening ears, maybe if they know that he's somebody that he doesn't listen, definitely they'll go and tell him, oh, you are the best, sir. You are the best that has ever happened.
So just to
the
lick
country.
in here.
Just so that they
wow.
can remain relevant in government. But the truth is, if you look at,
and that's why we are where we are.
Exactly. If you look at the military generals, general that are the military high command now, and you trace it back to 30-something years, you know, when they entered the military was in power for some years. So their orientation is military is the best form of governance. 1. 2, the hardship in the country. Then the public outcry. 3, if I may continue, is that if we look at what has been happening in other, neighboring states, it's also an inspiration.
Like
whether you like it or
Burkina
not.
Faso.
Exactly, it's an inspiration for them. And you never can tell. That you see, when coups want to happen, if it has international dimension, definitely you see that it won't be people carrying Russian flag. Those are not
by the way, South
coups
Africa,
are not planned that way.
By the way, the South African president Ramaphosa don't tell Putin, say we stand behind you, Gidigba, we'll be your person.
Imagine
and
that.
all this one are within Africa.
So the truth is, now the president have shown that he can easily take leave. He can easily jet out of the country whenever he wants. And you know that in Africa, your presence matters. When you are in an office, when you are there are some things your subordinates will not do. When you are not there, they will do anything. So, could there be some international networks which we can't rule out? Because Russia, if you have to go to international relations and diplomacy, if you look at as it is now, the war between Russia and Ukraine being backed by the West, the NATO and their allies, and Russia
there's a China,
Ukraine.
There is a China.
Yes, Russia tackling Ukraine,
Mm.
and Russia has not been able to win the war as it should be.
Okay.
So the major problem that US has
Remember
now,
the BRICS nations though.
Yeah, in terms of having power, the problem US have now is China is running its head. China is taking its time that it will come, but Russia is thinking that no, China, don't go there. They took it from us. We will get it back. So Putin have seen that at least, if you lose 100, even if now half, you gain, let's say out of 100, you lose 97. If you can be able to have half back, making 3.5, you have reduced the influence of the person that has 97 that become 96.5. So Russia will not mind, and having influence in a country like Nigeria. So you cannot exactly. So and they know that if they can have influence in Nigeria, it will dealt a big blow to the US and the UK. So you cannot remove those signs of coup. You can't remove it. You can't really erase it out.
So that's why you see that the president.
Yes, but the truth is, what I think the president can do is to truly be a listening president in the true sense of it. Because I think the president, he overdo. In the sense that
like this taxation,
yes,
because even MTN don't want this 5% tax, so it won't please now. Say it could just bring the extinction of
don't forget that MTN mast,
telecommunications.
Across the country, whether Glo, Airtel, they don't run on solar, they run on generator, diesel. And if you look at the price of petroleum product now and diesel right now, it is a pain in the neck for them. Upon that, you have increased tax. You have removed the subsidy on electricity. Even if they have automatic engines that if there's electricity to switch over, they are still paying more for that electricity, and they are operating in a perfect competitive market whereby this one will say take this data for 5,000, this one will say no, take this amount of data. So and these people are already having a very tough time. And
but they make for 15% of our GDP. So, like the MTN CEO said to real, he says that should a country joke with a sector that makes 15% of its GDP?
Let me quickly touch on this tax thing.
Very, very
to buttress your point. See, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if it's opportune to listen to me, you've tried. Let me tell you, you don't try. You have removed the subsidy. In fact, removed it like 3 times. You have removed you have floated the naira. You have tried. You have removed the subsidy on electricity. You have tried.
Which was even removed before he came in.
Which was even
for another day.
So the truth is, Now, what I think, if you want to tax, if you say you want to tax gaming, betting, lottery, we can begin to make research that is there a connection? Is there a connection between betting, lottery, and drug addiction, alcoholism, criminality? So if there is a connection, you can now impose tax to discourage people from betting. But telecom, for God's sake, goodness me,
Even our grandmother for villages.
you know, telecom. And if the Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to learn, this is what sacked a government in Malaysia. The Malaysian government introduced GST, government service tax, 6%, whereby if you load 100 naira credit, they will remove the 6%, so you get maybe 90 something naira, and they will say, oh, the recharge of 100 naira is successful, but we've removed 6%. Those 6% is going to, if you buy bread, if you buy drink, anything, 6%. The people told them, Malaysians, the Indians, the Chinese, and the Malays, which are called the Bumiputras, they want the Malaysian government, they want that political party that revert this thing. We don't want it. They didn't listen. Guess what? During that election, as strong as the political party is, the party lost that election. So that's why you see that.
Or did they reverse that after?
You know, when the new government came in, of course, it was reversed immediately. So the truth is, I don't think that the people in the presidency, I don't think they really listen. We should have a thinking presidency. We should have people in the presidency that do research. But what we have is sycophants, political hallelujah boys, that they don't really kind of like do research about what led to the dethronement of government in some other countries and begin to advise the president accordingly. For God's sake,
thank you.
Before the emergence of the Tinubu government, promise, just give me 1 minute, I'm sorry, promise is at the back end, okay? And today is her birthday. By the way, happy birthday to you, promise. I can see her smiling, okay? So now the truth is, you cannot remove all these things. In Nigerians, majority of Nigerians have been ancestrally, historically poor. Since the days of Obasanjo, people have been poor, and that is why you see that people used to japa, the poverty has always been there. If you look at it, the price of oil, 100 and something, now over 1,000 naira. You have already increased the poverty monumentally. The price of school fees has increased. Everything has increased. Why again do you want to add tax? Like I said, you can add it to maybe betting or gaming based on the argument that it will reduce crime. That okay, the people that police are arresting, you've seen that all of them, they are into betting, and that betting, when they lose, it triggers alcoholism and the desire to see more money to bet. Drugs. Yeah, the desire to see more money to bet usually lead them into criminality, robbery, kidnapping, and all that. That's why. But telecom,
thank you,
for God's sake,
thank you so much.
Let the poor, Bola, let the poor breathe. Don't suffocate them.
Breathe. Don't suffocate us. Let us breathe. Thank you so much, Dr. Deji. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So I'm sure you've heard all he said. Kindly like, subscribe, and of course, drop your comments. We'd like to share your thoughts on this. What do you really think about all the conversations that we've picked at tonight? We'd love to hear from you. I love you guys. Thank you, promise. Magnanimously beautiful promise. I love you guys.